All Three Beards Media podcasts originate from the Gravitate Co-working Studio, sponsored by Revelton Distilling Company.
Drop it.
Welcome back to another edition of the Ball Don't Lie podcast. I am your host, Ted Hawley, here as always with my co-host, Justin Smool, live from who knows where he's at. He's always over the place. He's in his car right now, but we're happy for him to be here. As always, we're brought to you by Three Beards Media Group. And thank you again to our sponsors, Gravitate Co-working and Revelton Distilling Company. Thanks again to Pig in the background run the show for us. But Smooly, what's up, buddy? Where are you at? Where are you living? Where are you driving?
I was in Kansas City. I'm back in Des Moines. So yeah, I'm just sitting in the car in the parking lot before I go grab a bite to eat.
The card game doesn't stop, does it?
No, it's been go here the last few weeks. So
well, that's good stuff. Just to recap last week a little bit, we both went 1-1 last weekend. We were both on the Lions. That was a hit. And I missed on the Bills. You missed on the Niners. Look, the Packers are better than we thought they were.
Yeah.
Brock Purdy did not play good for 3 quarters.
Nope.
But he had a big boy drive.
Hey, there's something to be said about that.
There is.
The haters can say all they want, but when it mattered the most, you're back against the wall, you're down. He let him down the field. He did what he had to do. So they can keep talking all that narrative, whatever they want to say. But hey, at the end of the day, I mean, the guy has not lost a playoff game when he can throw the football.
He's still plus 375 for Super Bowl MVP right now, so you might as well just go ahead and bet that right now.
That's probably the best odds you'll ever find for a quarterback that will be playing in the Super Bowl.
Ever.
Correct.
2 games out.
I have not even looked at that, but that is outstanding.
Go get it.
Yeah.
Hey, we both went 1-1. You had that ugly first wild card weekend. I had a good wild card weekend. Has me sitting at 5-2 for the playoffs. Look, I'm in a crazy dilemma for this week that I'm still alive in that huge 3,000 entry survivor pool.
Yeah.
There's 19 people left. So I joined forces with another guy from Polk City. He also has a pick. And we joined last week, so we're deciding what to do. We have no idea what to do this week. I kind of imagine that 14 to 15 picks out of 19 will be on the Niners. So we're down to 2 options.
I would say more.
Either we pick the same game to guarantee 1 pick in the Super Bowl, or we take both favorites and then with a bookie or a gambling site, we hedge on the dogs for some side money this weekend too.
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't think the Niners are losing. I really don't.
It's kind of what my dad said. My dad said, just put both picks on the Niners. I'm like, well, we're not going to do that. What's the point of doing that? But
right.
He thinks we're going to.
Yeah, I do. I'm pretty confident in that. So I mean, yeah, I would actually agree with your dad there. I do like the Niners this week. I think.
So if you like the Niners that much, you would say don't waste a pick on the Lions to make sure you get a pick. Go try to get 2 in and put it on the Ravens and maybe hedge against the Chiefs.
Correct. I would 100%. I'd rather hedge it in the Super Bowl as opposed to this week. My goal would be to try and get both in this week.
So to guarantee a winner in the Super Bowl.
Correct. Yep. 100%.
Because at that point, because they don't show who's left until after the game kicks. So we could wait for kicks, see who's on what, and then if we get 2 picks in, then hedge in the Super Bowl on a live bet. Hard.
Yeah, because you would have so much more wiggle room to do whatever. I mean, you're guaranteed profit to begin with if you got there.
I mean,
However,
there's almost 70 grand goes to the winner in this, and there's 19 picks. So say there's 15 picks left for the Super Bowl. Say it splits. I mean, if it's a Ravens-Niners Super Bowl, what's the spread going to be? 2? One way or the other? It won't be a field goal.
Probably 1. Yeah, 1.
Maybe a pick 'em.
Yeah.
So they'll be split on that, and you wait till kick, and you maybe even wait till somebody scores and do a huge hedge and try to be a hogger.
Yeah, and I think you can do it. You could be able to do it all game, truthfully. But I'm not 100% convinced that Baltimore's just gonna roll Kansas City either. I mean,
I'm getting sick of it. Like the Chiefs aren't any freaking good, and they might win the Super Bowl. Mahomes just pisses. You're a Raiders fan too. I'm a Broncos fan. It pisses us off.
It does.
It's just Mahomes in the playoffs. It's crazy.
It's 6 straight AFC Championship games. I mean, hey, give credit where credit's due. Like, the guy's just good, flat out. I mean, and there's really nothing. It's hard not to like him, truthfully, for as good as he is. I mean, he doesn't really do anything wrong, you know.
He doesn't.
In terms of off the field.
Thank God for his wife and his brother. Otherwise, there's nothing to hate about him.
Right. Well, at least his brother's taking a back seat this offseason.
Well, he kind of had to.
Well,
yeah, kind of had to.
Yeah, I guess he was forced, but yeah.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Cool.
Well, why don't you go ahead and roll us out here? Why don't we start in the AFC? Let's just start that Chiefs game there.
Okay.
The Chiefs are 4-point dogs. It opened at 3. It's moved to 4. I'm a little shocked it went that way, but I mean, look, the Bills went straight Bills. They had the ball at the 26-yard line at the 2-minute warning. Go win the football game. They came out and played scared, tried to settle for a longer field goal, and they missed.
Yep.
Go score. I mean, I get it. You don't want to leave time on the clock from Mahomes, but you have to get touchdown first.
Correct. These stupid coaches in the league, whoever, they're all at fault. 90% of these idiots have no idea what to do come clock management time at the end. They get so concerned about the timeout situation, which is so far overrated, and leaving timeout. Like, they're just go score.
Yeah.
Go score. Don't change up the play call. Don't worry about all the other BS. If you go score, you just won the game. I mean,
unlike most years with the Chiefs, this isn't the same old Chiefs on offense. They don't have the game breaker in Tyreek downhill too. It's a different team. Go score a touchdown and make them have to get a touchdown back. I thought it was a huge whiff on their part. They'll never have a chance like that again, probably. If you're ever going to give Mahomes, it was this year, and I just feel like that was a really big whiff.
Especially at home.
Especially at home, and Josh Allen's big cap hit starts next year. He was still kind of on that team-friendly deal this year.
Good luck.
It's going to really kick in next year.
Yeah, they're. I mean, Gabe Davis, I know, is a free agent. I mean, they're gonna struggle, and that you're gonna see it. It's hard. I mean, you and I have talked about this a lot off to the side with what these quarterbacks get paid and how much it can really hit the team as a whole. And it puts that much more of an importance on every single draft pick when you have and don't get us wrong, Josh Allen's great, but at the same time, it's really, really tough in this league that's so balanced.
Oh, you absolutely have to pay him. It's just the margin of error gets smaller when you're paying that much more to one person, and this was their year to go get it. It was kind of their last chance to go slap it before it gets even harder. It's not going to be easier next year for them. It's going to be harder.
It's going to be harder. I mean, they have to hit a home run in the draft, and that's how you're going to have to do it. Is find a young.
I think you have to let Stephon Diggs go too.
I don't disagree. Yeah, I don't disagree.
He's now a low end 1, high end 2, and he's going to want a lot of money. If you can move that contract, I think you should move it. There's a bunch of good receivers in this draft. So maybe if you can get a late 1 from somebody, take 2 receivers in the first round.
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
Why not? But you're talking about Mahomes with 6 straight conference championship games, but he didn't make one as a rookie, did he?
No.
Do you know anybody still in the playoffs that's made the conference championship every year he's been in the league, even as a rookie?
Yeah, Brock Purdy.
Oh, Brock Purdy, okay. So with all this hate and all this, you praise all these guys for one thing. People keep moving the goalposts. Like, Mahomes does is make the conference championship game. It's like, well, Brock Purdy's in his second.
So yeah, all he's done in games that he can physically throw a pass in the playoffs, he's won every one. He's won every one.
Every one of them. So,
Yeah,
I mean, we move the goalposts for certain guys because you're supposed to, and then we move them back in again too, and that's what pisses me off about this.
Yeah, 100%.
That's why I'm so glad you brought up that Mahomes comics. I'm like, all right, now let's move to Purdy. So, because he's a 7th round pick, it's just because of his weapons. It's like, well, he has weapons. What's he doing with them? He's winning. He's winning with them.
Yeah, correct. Do what you're supposed to do.
What you're supposed to do.
Yep. So, I mean, in regards to the game, I'm not playing this game. I'm not playing this game. I think I'm going to look live. I don't. It feels a little fishy to me that the game went up, that the line went up. So but I don't know. Here's the I'm not going to go against Mahomes here, and I actually think they have a good. I think they match up well with Baltimore. I really do.
So I'm going to let your talk here maybe make my decision one way or the other in one of these games. Before we really dive into our absolute plays for this week, why don't we jump real quick and hear a word from our sponsors?
Why take the best corn in the world and make it into fuel when you could make it into whiskey? That's the question that launched Revelton, Iowa's most visible and fastest growing distillery. Owners Rob and Christy Taylor embrace the grain-to-glass philosophy, sourcing ingredients locally and overseeing on-premises production and bottling at their facility in Osceola. One sip, and you'll agree that Revelton's handcrafted whiskeys, gins, and vodkas are the best you've ever tasted. And with the launch of their rye whiskey, made with 100% Iowa-grown rye and corn, and their new bourbon coming soon, there's more Revelton to love than ever. Iowa's own Revelton Distillery. ReveltonDistillery.com. The great thing about working from home is working from home. The worst thing is working from home, especially for face-to-face collaborations with customers and coworkers. And let's face it, coffee shop meetings are neither private nor professional. So skip the trip to Starbs and investigate Gravitate Co-working Space. For more than 10 years, Gravitate has provided large and small office and conference spaces perfect for hosting meetings, workshops, or other events, as well as private phone booths for confidential conversations. Plus, all spaces include secure fiber internet, free coffee, and access to a kitchenette. All you need is your laptop. Gravitate does the rest. And renting space at Gravitate is surprisingly affordable. An hour of office space costs about the same as venti caramel macchiatos and breakfast sandwiches for two. Daily and monthly rates are also available with no long-term commitment. Learn more at gravitatecoworking.com. That's gravitatecoworking.com.
Welcome back again to the Ball Don't Lie podcast. It is Conference Championship Week. I'm Ted Hawley here, joined as always with Justin Smool. Thank you again to Three Beards Media for having us and our sponsors. Our fearless leader, Chris Shipley, said, you know you're a degenerate when you're recording a gambling podcast from your car. I will do him one better and say, since we started the year with him into now, he gives way more gambling picks on all his little side. On all his little side, he loves the player prop. So he's a player prop fiend.
Yes,
he's all in. He just getting started. He has no idea how much he's in over his head now. He's never coming back either. He should have stayed away. He never came in. He's screwed now.
Yep. Yeah, it'll change you forever.
Welcome to the Thunderdome, baby.
Yep.
Well, I'm gonna reluctantly make 2 plays in this game.
Okay.
But I'm all over the board.
Okay.
I'll let you start. Do you have a confident play to make your card for this week?
Yeah. Okay. So I know we're staying with. I'm gonna take the under in the Ravens game, in the Ravens Chiefs. So I am making 2. I really didn't want to make a play in this, but just because we have the 2, this is what I'm doing. I didn't like the line, so I'm going to make it under 44.5. I just think both defenses are really solid here. I don't think you're going to see.
They might be the best 2 defenses in the league.
Yeah, I don't believe you're going to see a big play to break things open. I think if you do have a scoring drive, that's okay, but it could be one of those 10 to 12 plays, 7-8 minute type of situation, right? Limit the possessions. So it feels like a kind of similar to last week. Whoever has the ball last probably wins the game, in my opinion. But I'll take the under 44.5. with the Ravens Chiefs. And I'm horrible at these for those who are listening.
Yeah, I'm shocked you're doing it. And this is it's a great play for you, man. Here's another tidbit for listeners, too. I heard this week that the Chiefs in their last 7 playoff games have scored points on their first drive of the game. On their opening drive, when they touch the football, they've scored points on their first drive of the game. You can bet that on all the apps, too. Yep. So, maybe they'll break it this game on that, too, but I'm going to be playing that line, too. I'm not sure what it is. I should have looked it up for the game, but I heard that this week. The last 7 playoff games, points were scored. So it's a field goal or a touchdown.
Okay.
I'm going to I think the Ravens are going to win the game.
Okay.
But I'm going to take the points of the Chiefs. I'm going to take the 4. Like you said, I think it's who has the ball last. Like, I see the Ravens winning by 3. Like, a tied game, and whoever has the ball last, or the Ravens have the ball down 4 with 2 minutes to go, 3 minutes to go win the game type deal. I think it's an even game. So because of that, I'm going to take the points.
Okay.
For that reason alone. But I'm also going to do a money line parlay with both favorites, the Niners and the Ravens, minus 109. So you're getting a little less than the juice to play those two together. So I'm going to make that official. I'm going to make that also an official play for me. The Ravens and the Niners money line parlay, minus 109.
Yeah, I kind of like that actually. Yeah. Yeah, I do like that. I'll probably tell you there. Yeah, I'm gonna lay it with San Fran here. That's the one I like the most this weekend. Detroit's a great story. What they've done is, props to them. But I think the Niners, too many people. I think the conditions played a bigger factor than what people are refusing to talk about or believe last week. So the Lions.
Brock Purdy absolutely has a kryptonite. It is a wet football. He has smaller hands.
Yep.
So when the ball is wet from snow or especially rain when it's coming down, they can't get it wiped off. He can struggle in that, and he did last week.
He did for sure.
It's going to be 70 and sunny on Sunday.
Yeah, I think
perfect conditions.
Correct. Another stat I heard this week, which I feel like is interesting. So if you've watched the Lions this year, they've actually been kind of a Jekyll and Hyde team home and away. This is the second game since don't hold me trick to the date, but I want to say since October 26th that they've played outdoors. Think about that.
Well, I know what Goff's record is not at home and not in a dome. It's really bad.
Yeah. I mean,
it's like, he is like a all-time Hall of Fame quarterback in a dome and not in a dome.
Yeah. They've played because like their away games so far have been in domes. Like I think they played at Dallas, and obviously at Minnesota in the home field, there's a dome. They've obviously played at home. I mean, it's crazy how many games. Maybe they've played at Atlanta too in that stretch. I don't recall, but it was wild. I went back and looked. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's correct. Like, because the early away games they got out of the way, like at Packers and stuff like that. So,
but look, they're really good at defending the run.
They are.
So, and then that's where Aaron Glenn did a good job this year, the defensive coordinator for the Lions, is they were really bad on both sides of the ball last year. And he does not have the personnel to be great all around. So they committed this offseason this year, like, we're going to stop the run. You can throw on us, but you're not going to control the line of scrimmage and run on us. And they're good at that. But you're going against the best scheming run guy ever, I think, in the history of the game, maybe even besides his dad, in Shanahan. I mean, he learned from his dad. They can get you in all kinds of pockets and get outside. They don't have to run the ball at the middle. They run the ball and you can move it, and they can get out on screens and quick passes and stuff too. They're the hardest team to scheme against that, so they can make you more average against the run. But Detroit's secondary is so bad. I think they're either number 1 or number 2 against the run in the league, and they're like number 30th or 31st against the pass. Like it's that much of a Jekyll and Hyde deal. Yeah. So I do give Aaron Glenn credit for, he's like, look, I don't have the dudes just to be an elite defense. So we're going to be elite at one thing and just suck at the other, because you have to give up one to have the other. We don't have the guys, and they don't have the guys. And even if Debo doesn't play, or he doesn't play that much, I don't think it really matters that much. The Jennings dude that came in and replaced him too, he's a good guy and looked like Brock trusted him. He's thrown to him late.
Yeah. Yep.
And look, if McCaffrey can't run the ball, you can go put his ass in the slot in 2 seconds, and he's a top 10 player out there too. It's not that big a deal.
Right. No, it's a great point. I think people have been they've kind of forgot how bad this Lions D was in like stretches throughout the year, and they were putrid. I mean, that Thanksgiving game against Green Bay at home, I mean, they couldn't stop anything.
They couldn't.
I mean, and so that's the thing. If you let Brock and them get rolling, good luck.
Well, and I heard a stat too that Brock Purdy is 0-5 against the spread without Debo and 1-4 overall. Here's what they left out in that stat. Trent Williams played in none of those games either. And I'll tell you right now, Trent Williams is way more important to that reason than Debo Samuel is, because he's maybe the best left tackle in the history of football. He's absolutely the best tackle in the league right now. And to those games, there was when Brock dropped back, it was set hike. You go from the best left tackle in the league to some bum. There's a guy in his face immediately. Well,
I agree.
Trent Williams is playing. He's healthy.
Yeah. Yep. No, he definitely means a lot more than Debo does. And as good as Debo is, yeah.
I still think Ayuk's their true best pass catcher anyway. Debo just does so much after the catch. I mean, don't get me wrong, Debo's fantastic, but their best true receiver is Ayuk.
A fact.
And you still have Kittle.
I completely agree with that.
There's guys everywhere. They'll be fine.
Yeah, I actually think Kittle would be the guy I would look at. I think he has a monster game. I think he's going to create the problem. So I would look at him for like a player prop. I think Kittle could have a field day.
So I have a couple of player props here too to look at as well. I know Mark Andrews is back for the Ravens, but I kind of think he'll be in some packages maybe. Isaiah Likely has become a big time pass catcher for them. He's been hitting his overs. He's been my plays anyway. He's down to 22.5 yards for his over under. That's like one catch potentially because they like those seam routes with their tight ends there, especially their second tight end. So he'll be playing that Charlie Kohler role that he was the last 2 weeks anyway. I think Likely can have that in one catch in the game on a seam route. So I like Isaiah Likely over 22.5 yards for a player prop. And I think McCaffrey's going to have a big day anyway. I know that they're going to take the runaway. So I'm going with if McCaffrey for 2+ touchdowns, because him to score touchdowns like minus 300. It's ridiculous. But you can actually get plus 150 for two touchdowns or more for McCaffrey. And then again, back to my prop on the Chiefs scoring points in their first drive. Those are my 3 props that I like.
All right. Yeah. I need to look at some more. Maybe I'll tweet some out. But yeah, I kind of like those as well, actually, now that you say it. I think McCaffrey has a big game too.
I just think he's going to have a big game. And whether it's in the stat category or not, like he always just seems when they get in the red zone, is there a better guy that just knows how to find the freaking end zone? It's incredible.
Nope.
And you have maybe the best guy that schemes to get his dudes the ball. Like some coaches try to get cute with other players when it's time to score. Shanahan goes, I will go with my Joes over the X's and O's. So
correct. Yep.
And I guess I want this for Purdy pretty bad.
Same.
I'm sick of hearing the hate. It's crazy.
Nobody
cheers for the Kurt Warners. Why is nobody cheering for this guy? It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, the pundits just don't, they continue to look bad.
The national pundits and the Iowa fans who just want him to fail so bad in this state is crazy.
Yeah. It's pretty wild when you think about it in terms of talk about a little bit of Iowa, like with what Caitlin Clark's doing still and Brock Purdy. I mean, even low key kind of under the radar, but Halliburton's having a monster season for Indiana.
How's that on the radar? He's starting the All-Star game.
Well, yeah. I mean, but in terms of what is being talked about.
Sure. I mean, there's big-time athletes coming out of the state. And I'm telling you right now, and it is a Caitlin Clark effect and how big the AAU ball is in this state. Iowa women's basketball is going to keep creating these studs. I mean, they're popping through. I mean, maybe never to her level again. She's a generational type player.
For sure.
But just sending players to D1 basketball, it's nuts.
Oh.
Like we know, Jerry Piper's granddaughter, Ava Zedeker, is going to be a stud. She's going to be playing somewhere at D1.
Yeah, I actually think I'm going to go try and watch the game here.
She's really good.
Yeah, I need to watch a couple. So.
All right, well, I'm going to have 2 official plays in my card. You got anything else to add before we get to that?
Nope.
Actually, I got to ask you a question before we get to that. So your boy, Bill Belichick, I thought he'd have a job by now. There's
Yeah.
only 2 openings left. He's not going to have a job, is he?
No, I mean, unless the D coordinator gets opened up.
Shut up. That's not – I know. You can't say that. I think he had the Falcons job. I don't think he was willing to give up control. And
no, he wasn't. You're exactly
I would
right.
hire him to be my coach today. I would not hire him to be my GM, especially because he's not looking past 3 years.
He's horrible.
He's done
horrible. He has gotten a pass by everybody for the draft. He has been – just go look back at the picks.
It's not good. Especially offense. He cannot draft the offensive side of the ball. He can't do it.
He's horrible. And he's even whiffed. Gonzalez was actually a good pick this year. That fell to them.
Yeah.
The cornerback out of Oregon. But yeah, no, I mean, he has been terrible for the last 5, 6, 7 seasons in the draft. But no one talks about it because he walks on water. But yeah, no, I mean, he may not go anywhere. He may be done.
I think Washington and Seattle are left. I think Seattle's going to be Dan Quinn. If it's not, probably Vrabel, from what I hear. I think Pete Carroll's getting left in the cold.
Dan Quinn is a coordinator. Dan Quinn is a coordinator. He is not a coach.
He's not a head coach.
Nope.
I mean,
Vrabel would be a great hire for Seattle.
How do you get rid of an all-time defensive coach that's done so much for your franchise like Pete Carroll, and then bring in Dan Quinn, who had the greatest Super Bowl collapse ever as a head coach, and look what he just did in the playoffs with that great defense.
Yeah.
Against the 7-seed Packers. How do you sell that? You can't.
But the NFL is notorious. Guys fail upwards. This is what drives me nuts about this.
Cliff Kingsbury.
Yeah. They fail upward. Well, I think he's actually would be a good coordinator. He's a good
coordinator. He's not a head coach.
Correct. Yes, I would agree. There's just certain guys that need to know their roles. And, obviously, Shane Steichen deserves to be a head coach.
Well, look at you know what Gannon did with the Cardinals this year, so the Eagles had 2 amazing coordinators last year and went to the Super Bowl.
Correct. And now look what happened.
I think your 2 best coaches on the team were your coordinators. That kind of hid your head coach's deficiencies, and it's being seen now.
It is correct. Yep. And they don't come through that often, right? Like Ben Johnson's name's getting thrown out.
I think Ben Johnson has a Washington job. I mean, I think that's why.
I think so too.
I think their backup plan's Belichick.
Yeah. Good.
I do. I really do think their backup plan is Belichick.
It probably is. You're actually probably right. That would be the worst thing they could ever do.
I think it's a done deal, him in Washington. And I think with Seattle, somebody's going to be Quinn. If it's not, I bet it's Vrabel.
Yeah, Quinn would be a horrible hire. I mean, he would be terrible. How do you not hire someone like Vrabel? I don't understand that.
Why did Tennessee get rid of Vrabel?
Well, yeah, I don't. That's another great question.
Stupid.
I mean, unless they forced his hand in playing, I don't know. There's more to it behind the scenes.
Who knows?
Yeah, but
yeah. All right.
Poor Bill.
We can talk about Drew Shipley. We're talking about Ben Johnson, the Commanders, a done deal. Bill, hey, we just talked about it. Without even reading his comment, we just answered his question already. Yeah, I think that one of those 2 guys will be your head coach next year. I think the Commanders are in a better spot than the Bears or whoever picks first this year, because whoever picks first is going to take Caleb Williams in the draft, and Drake May is. I know you're a Jaden Daniels guy.
I am.
He's my second favorite quarterback in this draft, and Caleb's third. I think Drake May is going to be the guy. I think Jaden Daniels is second.
Yep.
I think the mistake is going to be made with Caleb Williams as the number 1 pick, and whoever gets those other 2 guys are going to love it way more. So that's why I like Washington, because they're going to be taken away from making that. Whether they take Daniels or May, take May. You get an offensive coordinator brain like Ben Johnson, who seems to be this elite talent doing that. Yep. You have all your cap space by trading those 2 DNs this year, and all these picks coming up. I think Washington is actually in a great spot.
Yeah, it's funny. I was talking to a buddy the other day. I mean, this would be a pod for about 6-7 months down the road, but every year in the NFL, it's hard to imagine. But there's teams that go from worst to first in the division.
Every year.
And if Washington doesn't screw up, then they would be, in my opinion, they would be prime of that team to go from worst to first. Well, yeah, they would. Yeah, because the Giants did go over them. So, yeah.
I'll do one better. And all the time you see these teams go from not playoffs to the Super Bowl. Give me we'll end it here because we'll do a separate podcast for the draft.
Yeah.
Give me your team. Give me one team in each division in the NFC and the AFC that did not make the playoffs this year that could be in the Super Bowl next year. Give me one team in each league.
One team. Okay.
I'm going to go with the Bengals just because I feel about Joe Burrow.
Did not make sense. Yeah, I mean, they seem pretty. They're logical for the AFC. Let's see. Not make the playoffs. I'm trying to think. Colt. Oh no, they made the playoffs. Shit.
No, they didn't. No, they missed.
Oh, you're right. Colts are my pick. I think Richardson's the real deal.
I think he might be too. That's actually a good pick.
I
will go with the.
Yeah, they didn't make it, was I?
I'll go with the Vikings only if they get Kirk back and they can fix him because I like what they do defensively now with Flores. If they can add a piece or two offensively, I'll go with the Vikings in the NFC.
Okay, I like that a lot. You and I are big Kirk guys anyway, so NFC. I'll go someone. I want to go different than you, but I love that pick. That didn't make it. Let me think. Who else do we got? Gee.
I mean, if the Falcons bring in like a Kirk Cousins or a Justin Fields or somebody with that defense, and they got a new coach, the South's bad. Can see that maybe. Washington gets no.
Washington, they're not a Super Bowl contender though. That's the problem. The NFC is just it's pretty weak as you get down there.
I think it's the Vikings or nothing.
Yeah.
Or my boy Kyler. Get hot.
No, I think I'd pick Minnesota too. To be honest, I can't.
I'm with you.
Yeah, I can't go. I can't go with it. I was trying to think of the West. Like the Niners are going to have that division on wraps. It's going to be so hard to beat them. Cowboys and Eagles are still there because the Giants and Washington they don't have the Super Bowl rosters.
I think the Vikings are the only team you can say that about in the NFC.
I'd agree, especially because they have a nice home field too. If you had to play them at home in the playoffs. Yeah.
All right. Well, just to wrap it up here, we'll run through. I think we both have two official plays. I had you for the Ravens game, Ravens Chiefs under 44.5, and San Francisco minus 7.5. And I had myself with the Chiefs +4 and a money line parlay with the Ravens and San Francisco, which you get -109, which is just a little under even normal juice. That'll be an official play for me as well. So I got anything else to add before we got here, bud?
No, man. Good luck this weekend, and it's a Love Championship weekend, and
fun.
Yeah, go Purdy.
Go Brock Purdy. DM us if you have any questions. We always get in the weeds a little bit before kick happens. Again, thanks to our sponsors. Thanks to Ball Don't Lie podcast with our Three Beards Media Group, and thanks to Pig in the background as always. I'm Ted. He's Justin. Cash that ticket.